Welcome back to another video. This video is part 2 of the previous video that I recorded. So if you have not seen that video, go ahead and click the link in the description. For this video, I'm going to be making another adjustment to the previous expert advisor that I built. And for the next part of the video, I'm going to be creating another expert advisor. So just make sure you stay tuned. I am now back in my EABuilder dashboard, and I will go ahead and provide a link to this website. It will be the first link in the description. Pretty much it is free to sign up. With the free account, you can create indicators. However, if you are interested in creating expert advisors, you will have to pay a one-time fee. I'm going to go ahead and get started with making the adjustments to this EA. So I'm not sure if you all remember, but for the test results for the EA, I tested with a 3-year time span, and the best test results came out to be a little over $300. I would like to improve that because $300 over a 3-year time span is only $100, per year. So I would like to show you how you can boost your profits. So in the previous video, I programmed the EA with risk percent per trade. Of course, you can always increase that, and I did make that an input setting, so that is one way that you can boost your profits. But another way that you can boost your profits is by selecting position sizing. So position sizing is very similar to risk per trade. It's just that the compounding interest is a lot greater with position sizing, and I'm going to pretty much give you an example of how it works. So if you enter 10,000 and your account size is 500, then the trade size will be 0.5, and basically it will increase the bigger your account gets. So with position sizing, for example, if you enter 10,000 and your account size is 500, then your trade size will be 0.05. And I'm going to show you the math on this, because I know that that might be a bit confusing. But it's basically, you take 1 divided into 10,000 times 500. You get 0.05. So that's the math behind that. And basically what happens is the more your account size increases, the lot size will increase. And if you are having losing trades, the more losing trades you experience, the lot size will decrease. So I'm going to go ahead and change that, and I'm going to leave that at 10,000. I am going to go ahead and check this off as an input setting, so that way I can adjust that. I'm going to go ahead and click on the source, and I'm going to go ahead and transfer this over to MetaTrader 4, so that way I can show you all how it operates. So here is a preview of how the EA will work. As you can see, there's a line graph at the bottom. That line graph is basically displaying what the account balance, how that is performing. So yeah, this is just a quick preview of the EA. Alright, so I went ahead and did a retest of the previous test where the highest profit was, I believe it was over $300. So I went ahead and put in the same dates and did the same test. I do believe that the spread may have been different for this test, but as you can see, the profits are a lot higher, just making the adjustments, or after making the adjustments. So yeah, whenever you're creating your expert advisors, you kind of do have to play around a little bit to see what the best settings are. And as you can see, there are a couple of losing trades down at the bottom. Of course, it is the same exact test, but they're probably, since I did a retest, the spread may have been different, so that does make a difference. So yeah, you just kind of have to do some optimization and kind of play around with the settings a little bit to see what the best settings are. So I'm gonna go ahead and create another EA on this next part of the video, and it's going to be a little bit different from this EA. So this EA was a price action EA, and this next EA that I'm going to create is going to be more specific, dependent on a indicator using a period setting. And for this EA, I am going to come up with the concept of using two different time frames. Usually when you want to use two different time frames, you can use let's say a longer time frame or a higher time frame, such as the 1 hour or 1 day, and you can enter trades based on the activity on the smaller time frame, such as 5 minutes or 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and go to new, and I'm going to come up with the name Warzone. Now sometimes, or I should say a lot of the times, when I come up with the names for these EA, it's completely random. There is no story behind them. So I'm just going to go ahead and call this one Warzone. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on the conditions. So I want this to be based on the 1 day time frame as well as the 15-minute time frame. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I want to find the trend on the 1 day time frame. So I'm going to use moving average and change the time frame to 1. And it's pretty much going to be similar to the last EA, where I'm going to be using 3 different EMAs. So I am going to stick with the 3, 6, and 9 EMA. So let's go ahead and moving average, 1 day, 6, and we're going to change that to exponential. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and create the 6 over 9. On the 1 day time frame. Alright, so that's that. Now I'm going to go ahead and create the conditions for the 15-minute time frame. And for this part, I'm going to be using the RSI. So you have to look for relative strength index, time frame 15 minutes. For period, I'm just going to change it to 7, but I'm also going to I'm going to make the period an input setting. I'm just going to call it RSI. And then I'm going to leave this as is above. I'm going to go ahead and do RSI 15-minute time frame. And I'm going to go ahead and check the box to make that the same input setting as the previous. And for the shift part, I'm actually going to change this to 2. So basically, the base RSI will have to be above the shift RSI in order for it to place a trade. And then the triggering factor is going to be 15-minute time frame. I'm going to go ahead and check that for the RSI input setting. And I'm going to have to change this from is above to crosses above, and then value of 30. So essentially, whenever the RSI of 7 or whatever the input setting that I choose crosses above 30, then a long order will be placed. Then of course I'm going to go ahead and put in my stop loss and take profit. And I'm going to be using the same concept from the previous EA. So the take profit will equal, hold on, I messed up. Let me go ahead and delete this, because I accidentally chose the RSI instead of creating a new input. So go ahead and go to new, change this to stop loss. Let me go ahead and make the take profit equal to stop loss, but then extend the condition so that way the value can be multiplied by 2. I believe that I chose 3 in the last one, but this time I'm just going to go ahead and choose 2, but I am going to make that an input setting so that way that it can be changed. So take profit, press OK. Alright, so we have all of our conditions set for the long orders. Now we've got to do the short orders. Again, of course, you can manually type in everything the way you did up here, but to complete it using the opposite parameters, go ahead and click on the magic wand button. And then for this part, I'm going to have to change from 30 to 70 since it's going to be short orders. And that part is basically saying whenever the RSI of 7 or whatever you change the input setting to crosses below 70 a short order will be changed. A short order will be placed. We're going to go ahead and skip close trade since I have my stop loss and take profit. For common, I'm going to go ahead and do magic number. I am going to change it. Magic number is not really that important, especially when you're going to be making an input setting, but yeah, I just want to go ahead and change that. Time of day, I'm going to say 9 a.m. I'm just going to go ahead and make this 2000 hours. 2000 hours is equal to 8 o'clock p.m. I am going to go ahead and do days of the week. However, well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and do days of the week, and I'm going to make these an input setting. And then next trade open after 1 day. I only wanted to trade once a day. Of course, spread. I'll just change it to 2. I don't know if I explained in the last video, but spread is basically going to be helpful for using it on multiple pairs. So, for example, the pair Euro USD, that usually has a smaller spread, but let's say if I wanted to use this on a pair that has a larger spread, such as maybe GP, JPY, if I make it an input setting, I can go ahead and change that, and I can use it on either pair. Alright, maximum number of open trades is going to be 1. So now we're going to go to money management, and I'm just going to go ahead and go straight to position sizing. I'll go ahead and leave it at 10,000. Alerts. I'll go ahead and choose all of the options for print to journal. Alright, input settings. So I'm going to go ahead and make the magic number and input setting. I'm going to go ahead and check off all days of the week. So that way I can choose what days I want it to trade. Once I have it on MT4, spread, make that an input setting, as well as position sizing. And now I'm done. I can go ahead and transfer this from EABuilder to MetaTrader 4. So I want to go ahead and make a change. I'm going to go ahead and change the shift on this from 2 to 1. I don't want the shift to be too much, although I know that it'll still work and it'll still be effective, but I'm just going to go ahead and make that change real quick to both of those settings. I'll go ahead and change this from 0 to 1. Click OK, and go ahead and make sure that it matches on the short order as well. Make sure I change that back to 70. I'm pretty sure the shift of 2 will still work. I just don't want the shift to be too far out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and make one last change. I'm going to change the end time of day from 20 to 2300 hours, just to give it some more room to trade if there was no trades that can be placed before 2000 hours. So I went ahead and transferred the EA to MetaTrader 4, and I did want to say really quick that on the EABuilder website, there are tutorials that will show you how to transfer the EA from the website to MetaTrader 4. But I'm going to go ahead and open up the tester and change the EA from daily breakout to Warzone. And I'm going to go ahead and change the symbol that I'm going to test from Euro USD to USD JPY. And then because I'm going to keep it on every tick. Every tick is the more precise method for testing. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the dates that I'm going to test for. So that'll be November 20th, 2021 to June 26th, 2024. Now this is going to be a optimization test, and I am going to be only optimizing two of the input settings. And when you optimize two or more input settings, you will actually get a option for the graph to show it in a different type of graph. I think it's called a 3D graph. So the input settings that I'm going to be testing for are period, which is the RSI setting for this EA. And I'm also going to be testing the stop losses. And the set take profit that I have for this is set to 3. After this test is done, I'm going to show you how to read the 3D graph. Okay, so this test is done now. As you can see at the bottom, there were 260 tests that it performed, and that test took 5 hours and 12 minutes and 43 seconds. So now I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the results. As you can see up top, there are the more profitable trades, trade settings. Then as I scroll down, you can see the trade settings that have the least amount of profitable settings. So I'm going to go ahead and teach you all how to read this graph. This is the 3D graph. Of course, the numbers at the bottom represent the x-axis, the numbers going from 2 through 14. And then the numbers on the right going from 5 to 10, that is the y-axis. That is basically two different input settings that you can test. Okay, so I went ahead and did another optimization test, and just like how I did in the last video, I made an adjustment to where it only trades one time per week. So I can't remember what day I tested for. I believe this might have been for Wednesday. So as you can see, the more profitable setting this time was $984.81. And so I kind of wanted to go over the 3D graph. So as you can see, there's a graph that has different shades of green. So for this test, I specifically wanted to test for profit factor. And basically this test is showing me where the more profitable settings are for the indicator. I'm sorry, for the EA. So the more profitable settings for profit factor, it looks like it is above 95 using the period or the RSI of 8. That's pretty much what this graph is used for, to give you like a visual, kind of give you a visual of where the more profitable settings are. Now, two things that you want to look out for are for groups of tests, or pretty much a block of greener areas. So as you can see, there's in the 8 column, that is where the greenest areas are. But there's also another column that has deeper shades of green, which are 13 and 14. The other thing that you want to look out for are shades of green that are surrounded in the area of lighter green or white. With those results, that means that something extraordinary happened, and you might not want to use that setting because it may not be consistent. So just keep a lookout for that and keep that in mind. Alright, so that is the end of this video, and again, this is part 2 of this video series. If you are interested in looking at part 1, where I created the daily breakout expert advisor, go ahead and click on the second link below in the video description. And yeah, with this video, I went ahead and created another EA. I used a different setting And if you are interested in signing up for a free account with EABuilder, go ahead and use the first link in the description. With this free account, of course, like I said, you can only create custom indicators, and if you upgrade, you will be able to create expert advisors. I would highly suggest anybody who is interested in EABuilder to sign up for a free account, and definitely check out the tutorial videos in the tutorial section. So they do have like a video tutorial, and then they do have a section where they have tutorials that are written out for you. But thank you all for watching, and I just wanted to leave you with a visual test of this second EA, the Warzone EA.